Thinking about how it was for women before they got the vote, which didn't take effect until 1920. Before that, women not only couldn't vote, they couldn't own property, they couldn't have bank accounts. Well, a single woman could, if she inherited the money, she could keep it until she got married. If she got married, then it had to be turned over to her husband. So, it's pretty bad, but people like Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Stanton Katie, Jocelyn Gage, there are a lot more that you can read about in a book called Women Without Superstition. It's a great book. But they all decided this is for the birds. We can't change anything unless we get the vote. So some of them spent their entire lives trying to get the vote for women. And guess who put up the most objection?
Who?
Make a guess.
The men?
The men of the clergy, of the church. The church leaders who were at that time mostly men, sometimes women couldn't even speak in the church, but they put up the most objection. They fought these women tooth and toenail. That's a silly expression. But anyway, they fought them really hard to keep them from getting the vote. Well, eventually women did. And so at least we have some say over our bodies, but of course you know what's happening now. What are they trying to do to us?
Trying to take away our voices. They're trying to speak for us and not let us decide what we want and what we think that we should do personally.
You know, I think that along with what you said, I think it's a control issue.
The men feel like they have power over us.
To do anything they want. And there are a lot of verses, we don't have time to talk about them right now, but there are a lot of verses that insist that women should never be able to speak for themselves. First their fathers should be in control, then their husbands, maybe other men in their lives too, grandfathers or whoever. A woman should never be left on her own to make her own decisions. That sounds bad, but it's really written down. And continuing that mode of thought is merely promoting men's control over women. Putting us back in the slavery position. You've heard him talk about white, what do I want to say, white supremacy. That's not it. Authoritarian whites. I still haven't got the right word. Back to the age thing. But they have privilege. That's it. The male white privilege. They do have that privilege, and they want to keep it, and they are fighting to keep us barefoot and pregnant. Well, maybe they're not going to keep me pregnant. I'm 92. I don't think I don't have to worry about it personally, but a lot of women do have to. So, do you want to be growing up, getting married and still having all these old white men telling you what to do?
No, I do not. I want to be able to speak for myself, not have somebody else do it for me.
Have you heard the term free will? Okay, if you stop and think about it, you can't have free will unless there's a choice. If I say to you, you have free will to jump off the cliff and die, or to do what I say, that's no real choice. You have to have choices to be able to express your own will. So they keep talking about free will, but it is not free unless there's a choice.
Yep.
So, boy, I'm ranting.